Hi everyone, and welcome to the Rapid Growth Monthly Vibe for June. And oh my god, what a month this is going to be! Like, get your 3D glasses out, get the popcorn, because you are going to feel like you are in a freaking movie. And as with every movie, there's boring times, there's nail biting times, and then this moment when you just can't watch anymore. We have tears, we have hope, we have shocking truths revealed, and secrets coming out. You get my drift. Okay, so this is definitely not going to be a boring month. And what has been suppressed in the world will come out. Cat's out of the bag, guys. So it's out, it's fully open and in the public. Now, the good news is that the focus will much more so be on damage control, right? It will also be much more so on positive solutions. So that's the good news. Now, despite it also, right, just word of advice, just take a deep breath. Don't let your negative thoughts run away with you. So just despite, this heaviness and how heavy or upsetting it might feel, you will also feel liberated, right? There's like a sense of emotional liberation because with all of this, certain pieces of information will start to gently fall into place, right? And it also now here, it does have a positive ending to it. That's more good news. So here now, for example, what you can do is you can keep your eye and your heart on this positive ending. That's really, really important to remember this month. Keep it on the positive ending. And it's definitely going to be in sight this month. Even though you might not see it clearly at first, because the first 2 weeks of June is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel slightly uncomfortable, but we'll get a little bit more into that in the weekly vibe of the first week of June, and also then the full moon. Actually, yes, the full moon that we have coming up on the 5th of June, we're going to dive even deeper into that. Now, apart from the first 2 months, after that, it's going to be a lot more smoother for us all. Okay, so just also here, keep in mind everything that's now going on as well, that you don't overcommit or take on too much responsibility, right? We're all tired. It's been a tough year so far, to say the least. And so, just go easy on yourself. Even though you feel that you might have like an abundance of energy in you, there are 30 more days in this month. So pace yourself. Life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Okay, so be mindful that you don't feel that you're being weighed down by like high expectations, or especially from yourself. That sense of urgency that we sometimes have, like things need to get done now, or I have to get this sorted, that needs to get sorted. Don't try to make too many plans. Revise it, think about it, structure it, plan it. But in terms of actually incorporating it really full steam running with it, I would wait a little bit. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of confusion going on. There's a lot of energetic stress happening as well. There will be a sense of a negative global wave, impacting each other as well, where there might be some negative thinking, some fears coming and going. Let that all just ease off, because it will ease the end of this month. That's the good news. So everything that's been building up from February, March, April, May, end of June, it's really going to start to ease up. So just also keep that in mind when you have like important things that you would like to do, things that you might want to start to implement, things that you feel a little bit impatient with, which you might have the first week of June, because it's a bit of a feisty, fiery energy coming in. And we'll definitely be jumping a lot into that in the first week of June's rapid growth vibe. So do make sure that you catch that, because there are some words of advice, words of caution there for you to follow if you want to breeze through the first week of June. And also here, make sure, right, that there's, for example, that you don't also use, for example, fear here in this case to motivate yourself, right, with almost like what I would call self-induced fear or pressure, right? So with or without the pressure, you're still gonna get it done. Okay, so just relax, you're gonna get it done. It's almost like, do you want it to be hard, or do you want it to be easy? In this case, this month, it's a choice. So keep that in mind as well. Now here also, for example, now here from the start of the middle of the year, you know, this is where we can start to feel a lift as well from everything that's happened so far. Like I said, from February, building up in January already, but February really building up, and then March and April being the heaviest. And then it's kind of like escalating a little bit, and then it's up and down. But after June, we're really going to start to feel much more positive aspects rather than the negative. And like I said, remember the first month is not going to feel that great. However, closer to the end of the month, we're going to start to have a really nice emotional uplift, more relief, more freedom, much less global panic. And you're definitely going to be looking forward to a much more type of easygoing vibration as well that you will love. So just breathe, okay? Breathe with ease. And also now, so along with the easing of these vibrations, globally, we're also here, the good news, even more good news, despite the first 2 months, the first 2 weeks, it's going to be shitty. Okay, I'm just letting you know, it's going to be shitty. It's not going to feel good. But we're going to have to just soldier and march through that, because later the month, that's when the good stuff is going to start, and it will continue to get gradually better and better and better. So it's just our last little hiccup there in June, which is more like the vibes just fighting it out, just getting the balance out, which also represents and mirroring, what's going on outside of our environment, higher authorities. So all these things just needs to kind of like find their place in space and just level out and ease off a little bit. And that will happen. And that's when things are really going to start to feel so, so much better. So, when we start looking at also the global aspect here, right, despite the bad, despite all the negative, especially from this pandemic and the lockdown, whether it was real or not, the long-term effects of this planet itself now, this has such a positive effect on the planet. And even if it was worth just to save the planet long-term, guys, it was worth it. It was worth the shake. It was worth the wake-up call. Because if sometimes we need to be pushed a little bit, sometimes there needs to be so much pain created before certain aspects start to give way, before people start listening, before we start looking and realizing, when we're not so distracted, when we're not so busy, what we've been doing. Because sometimes and I know you can relate, that as we progress with something, we get so caught up in the moment, we get so busy, that we don't realize certain aspects that we neglect within ourselves. Now, this is not just about ourselves anymore. This is about our home. This is our home that we have to live on. It's like when you get so busy and you just throw the dishes in the sink every time, the floor is getting dirty, you don't have time to deal with it because you're so focused on other things that's more important. But if you progress that over time, you start to look at a hygiene problem, or you start to look at, just feeling messy, and your outer world starts to reflect your inner world. And that's basically what's been happening with the planet. And now there is a wonderful reset also of the planet, the health, the ecosystem, our environment. And what you can start to see this month, actually, right? You'll start to see people making plans to implement ideas and structures that are a lot more environmental friendly, right? So ways to support the planet more. And this will now be planned and thought through a lot more. It's already happening. That's the good stuff. That's the good news. But we're going to see a lot more of that. And the beauty of this is that you can also already start to contribute, which you probably already are, right? By just doing, small little environmentally friendly tasks such as recycling, being mindful of how much water, for example, you use, gas emissions, and the list can go on. Every action makes a difference, because ultimately these actions do contribute on a bigger scale, right? Much, much bigger scale. Even, just your mindset towards it already has a positive impact. The monkey effect, right? So here we will also start to see this month, we'll start to see a restructure of our economy. Things are starting to get back on track. It's almost like a bit of a gentle reset that's now going to start to take place. So there's going to be rebalance. It's going to start to be brought back in more order, more or less to the point at least where we can start to feel relatively normal again. Now, also just a slight plot twist to this month, a little bit of a repeat of May. You might have a little bit of a blast from the past as well, again, but this time it could be a little bit more subtle. It could more so feel where You might have memories coming up of an ex-partner. You might have memories coming up from certain friendships from the past where things might have felt a little bit unresolved. So you could feel yourself kind of like reminiscing, revisiting some aspects where things are going to start to become and feel a little bit clearer for you as well. So apart from all this confusion externally, your internal world will start to feel a little bit more settled and more clear as well, guys. So remember also here to catch me on the 5th of June for the full moon and on the 21st of June for the new moon. Because these moons are a little bit different than the other ones that we've had before. So make sure that you join me on my Facebook page for Metaphysical Anatomy for the live stream, or you can catch the replay at evetterose.com. So guys, having said all of that, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel at evetterose.com. Stay up to date with the moon vibes, the monthly and the weekly vibes as well, and also the healing sessions that I design with that to help set you up for success in your life. So until next time, be the light that you are.
Hi guys, thank you for joining me, and remember to grab your copy of Metaphysical Anatomy on Amazon, 679 medical ailments. And I also wrote about the psychosomatic root causes of that, and I'm spoiling you because I even added key points for you to start looking at important questions that you can ask yourself to start improving your quality of life. And also remember to catch me on Instagram, Evette Rose, 1 with the digit 1, and Metaphysical Anatomy on our Facebook fan page. Bye guys!